Thank you for attending the third Cannabis Investor Webcast. I would like to thank our platinum sponsors, Lexaria Corporation and Viridian Capital and Research. Please view the Viridian Cannabis Industry Report, which can be found on our website or at viridiancr.com. Please type any questions for the presenters in the question box. Our speaker today is Ed Lehruger, President and CEO, and Casey Ives, Business Development Director for Purevision Technology Incorporated. Ed and Casey, give me a couple of seconds to make you the presenter and turn the screen over to you.
Okay, are we ready to start?
Yes.
Great. Casey, are you there?
I am, Ed.
Great. Well, thank you all very much for allowing us to present. We've got quite a unique opportunity here. Purevision has been in business since 1992, and we started off looking very carefully at converting biomass into sugars. And over the last 20 years, we've really evolved the technology, gone through a few significant changes, and now what we're really focusing on is converting abundant agricultural residues and energy crops into sugars and lignin and pulp. And we have been fortunate enough to have some very significant companies that have looked very carefully at our technologies, and we have been engaged with global clients for the last 5 years, and we're making significant progress going from the biomass to the sugars, fermenting the sugars into alcohol, and looking at the other products, mainly pulp and lignin. With our successes, we're now at a pilot scale, and we're currently scaling up to a demonstration scale. With the passage of Amendment 64 in the state of Colorado 3 years ago, it enabled people in the state to either use medical marijuana or to grow industrial hemp. And after the passage of the law, the Colorado legislature, including the Senate and the House, was tasked with developing laws to grow industrial hemp. So I was invited by the House and the Senate to be on the committee to develop the laws in growing industrial hemp.
Hi, Ed. Hi, Ed. This is Derwin. Are we viewing a PowerPoint presentation or?
The PowerPoint presentation will be booted up, I believe, in the next few minutes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Okay. In any event, I'm just giving a little history here. The committee was tasked with writing the laws for growing industrial hemp, and over the last 2 years we did just that, and at the beginning of this year we went live. Now anyone in the state of Colorado can go to the state of Colorado website and navigate your way through to actually go online, register, pay the fee, and grow as many acres of industrial hemp as you want. The committee got together after it went live, and one of the discussions was, why aren't more people signing up? And we went around the room, and it was apparent that there was no place to process industrial hemp. So starting in about April, Purevision has been looking very carefully at developing technologies to take industrial hemp, and we're not talking much about the flowers and the seeds, but really the biomass portion, which is the bottom 2/3 of the plant, the stalks, and convert those into sugars and pulp and lignin. And we've actually been generating some very favorable data in our lab, and it's a very exciting opportunity that we're now exploring. So you're going to hear and see a little of that with Casey Ives, who is our Director of Business Development, and I'll just say that over the years Purevision has been trying to find the perfect business development director, and I'm very happy to say that Casey's been with us now for over 2 years. He's an old friend of mine from Western State College, and we've been through about 10 business development directors, and Casey has been doing an outstanding job for us, and we're really in a better situation as a company than we've ever been before. So at this time, Casey, I'd like you to roll the presentation, and at the end, I'll be available to ask or to answer any questions that any of you might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ed. Now I'm trying to advance my PowerPoint. Here we go. So Ed talked a little bit about the fact that we've been around for 20 years. Interestingly, we're employee-owned and financed, and although we're a startup and have made tremendous progress with our research and development and the scale-up of our technology, we have not taken any money from venture capitalists. So the money that funds our development is friends and family stock, and also our Global 500 clients who pay for our research and development work. We've got 18 employees. There's 4 of us in the front office, and everybody else is technical staff led by 4 PhDs. We funded our own labs and plants that are in Fort Lupton, Colorado, as we develop breakthrough technologies in biorefining, and most recently for industrial hemp. So today's call is really to seek investors for $10 million A round that I'll talk to you about in more detail. So this picture depicts the products that we make. We convert non-food biomass using a proprietary reactor to make pulp, lignin, and sugars. These are intermediate biomaterials that can be produced by Purevision to create a number of end products. So those sugars and lignin and pulp are shown in the green boxes across the top. You see the cellulosic biomass, grasses, wood, energy crops, agricultural residues, hemp, and a number of other feedstocks that we can convert using Purevision biorefinery technology into these products. Most of these products are made today using oil as one of the base materials, and we're seeking to replace oil with bio-based materials, producing sugars, lignin, and pulp to enable our customers to manufacture these products. I'm going to give you an example. Some of you may be familiar with the Coca-Cola plant bottle. They have manufactured over 25 billion of those plant-based bottles today, and Coke's doing that in response to consumers, shareholders, employees, and NGOs who want bio-based materials to replace oil for consumer and industrial products in the future. So based on that commitment, they, along with other members of the Plant Pet Technology Collaborative, Nike, Heinz, Ford, Procter & Gamble, all whom have needs for bio-based materials to achieve their sustainability goals, are seeking new ways to produce bio-based plastics. We have worked with them and with others on projects like the plant bottle. 30% of the polyethylene terephthalate, or PET bottle, that Coke makes is from plant materials. However, those are foods, corn, sugar cane, sugar beets. So this new industry of biorefining is about generation 2, or non-food biomass. We have determined a pathway to develop a 100% plant-based bottle. Using 30% of that bottle would come from our sugars and produce polyethylene, and the other 70% would come from our lignin to produce terephthalate acid. So that's just an example of what consumer and industrial products companies are doing to become more sustainable. We have a versatile technology that we have invented and hold a number of patents, 6 of them to date, and a number of others pending, to use our reactor to produce non-food sugars, a unique lignin, and pulp that can be used in many cases to replace non-sustainable materials. We're feedstock agnostic. There are only a few feedstocks that we've tested that are not suitable for our technology, but just about everything we have tested, agricultural residues, woody biomass, energy crops, and now industrial hemp, can be converted using the Purevision technology to produce the intermediate materials I've described. So we're currently at pilot scale. We have a pilot plant in Fort Lupton, Colorado that we've been operating for over 2 years and can develop barrel quantities of sugars, lignin, and pulp. These barrel quantities are going to our Global 500 clients so they can continue to do testing to use those materials to produce their end product. This is a process diagram of our proprietary reactor. If you look on the left side, the biomass, such as corn stover, wheat straw, and industrial hemp, enters the reactor from the left. From the top right, our secret sauce enters the reactor. It's a liquid reagent. They enter the reactor from opposite ends and degrade the biomass in such a way that we produce sugars, lignin, and pulp. People have been trying to do that with similar technology for years, and it's only Purevision technology that shows promising results using a countercurrent reactor. This countercurrent reactor is an off-the-shelf device commonly used in the food processing and plastics industries. We buy ours from Century Extrusion, who has worked with us on the reactors that we've built and others that we have engineered for use in the future. This particular technology improves yields and reduces the degradation of sugars that we've seen with competitive technologies. We use proprietary chemistry in this countercurrent reactor that has produced favorable results for all of the intermediate materials I've described. This is a picture of the countercurrent reactor that we have in our pilot plant in Fort Lupton. It's capable of processing a half ton a day of biomass. What's not shown in this pilot plant are our biomass feeding operations, the unit operations to separate and process sugars, lignin, and pulp, or our reagent recycling operation. But those are all part of the pilot plant, and we're showing you here just our proprietary countercurrent reactor. The market is pretty amazing. This is a USDA projection of the bio-based chemical sector, which accounts for bio-based chemicals and actually polymers or plastics. So most of our clients participate in this marketplace. The USDA says from nearly zero only a few years ago, this will be a $600 billion marketplace by the year 2025, and only a small share of this market will yield great profits and outcomes for our company. Our business model is that we conduct research and development and scale up programs for our clients. They pay for these programs. They're milestone based. So when we reach, for example, certain sugar yields or certain rates of recycling our reagent, we meet those milestones and they pay us. What they get out of the deal is exclusive licensing rights for specific feedstocks that they choose, namely woody biomass, corn stover, wheat straw, and our own industrial hemp. Once they and we build biorefineries, we will collect royalty money from all biorefineries built across the world using our technology. We plan to build some of these biorefineries with our Global 500 partners, and they plan to build them themselves. So as you can see, we're scaling up to build a highly profitable business. Our commercialization program is 4-phased. We have tested a number of feedstocks at bench scale in our laboratories using a shrinking bed reactor and other laboratory equipment. What we do is initially test the biomass to determine what kind of sugar yields, recycling rates we can get using different temperatures, different pressure, and different chemistries. We do that at the bench scale before going to pilot scale because it's much more expensive to do experiments on our pilot scale continuous countercurrent reactor. So we've been operating that for 2 years, have completed a number of milestones for our clients, and are beginning to prepare to break ground late next year on a 25-ton per day demonstration biorefinery. Interestingly, we invested only recently in a company that has a demonstration biorefinery, and the opportunity exists for us to shave a year or two off the schedule I'm going to show you in just a moment. Once we prove this at demonstration scale, we'll be able to develop commercial scale biorefineries at any size, anywhere in the world. This is our timeline to commercialization, and during the first 10 years of our company, we were focused on enzymatic hydrolysis as the technology we employ to achieve the desired results in converting biomass into bio-based materials. However, we found that enzymatic hydrolysis was extraordinarily expensive, and it continues to be. Most of our primary competitors are still clinging to that expensive technology, where in 2008 we invented the countercurrent reactor and began conducting phase 1 experiments. You can see that we went live with our phase 2 pilot plant in 2012 and have begun plans to develop our commercial demonstration facility next year. The timeline below also shows when we contracted with our Global 500 clients, specifically for woody biomass, corn stover, and wheat straw, and as the opportunity to capitalize on the industrial hemp opportunity produced itself, we formed our own company, Pure Hemp Technology, that I'll talk about in a few moments. Our competitors, which we consider non-thermal competitors, are listed below. There were a number of thermal competitors like Kior, Range Fuels, and Coscata, all of whom are kind of roadkill in our industry. So those that are left standing primarily are shown here: Poet, DuPont, Abagoa, and others who are using the enzymatic hydrolysis I described earlier, which is extraordinarily expensive, and there is a substantial concern in the industry that these companies will not be able to produce desirable outcomes, typically ethanol, in a cost-effective manner. So we don't use enzymes, we don't pay for enzymes, and our process is much shorter. These companies, like DuPont, put the biomass in large tanks, heat it and stir it, and introduce these expensive enzymes, and the process can take several days. So we have a smaller footprint, we believe higher value co-products, and are positioned well to disrupt this industry with the Purevision technology. Ed talked a little bit about industrial hemp, and he served on the General Assembly's Advisory Committee on developing laws in Colorado for industrial hemp. We saw a unique opportunity with our technology and the advancing legislation to form our own company and benefit from converting industrial hemp into value-added products and to create our own biorefineries and to also license and position ourselves to receive royalties based on pure hemp technology. So I think you're all familiar with some of the trends in the legalization of marijuana. The industrial hemp is kind of ridden along on its coattails to some extent, but is breaking out. You know, we're very excited about the 2013 Farm Bill ratified in February of this year, giving a lot of credibility to industrial hemp. And just last Saturday, the federal spending bill that passed will prohibit the DEA from, you know, interrupting entrepreneurs like ourselves in states that have legalized industrial hemp, and I believe there's at least 18 of them so far. So with our technology and the growing trend in legalization, we plan to be first to market in producing sugars and lignin from industrial hemp. We're aware of nobody doing this or nobody even trying to do this with industrial hemp. So our demonstration biorefinery will be the first hemp biorefinery from which we will sell hemp products. We'll also license the technology worldwide and predict that pure hemp, like Purevision, will be a profitable opportunity for those who choose to invest. The Chinese began processing hemp about 6,500 years ago, and interestingly, that labor-intensive process used so many years ago is similar to what they're doing today. They leave the hemp in the field and allow nature, using a process called retting, to separate the fibers. China is the largest exporter of hemp fiber in the world, and the United States is their largest customer. We're the largest consumer of industrial hemp in the world. So they're doing it manually. The Europeans mechanized it somewhat about 150 years ago using the decorticator, which is still in use. Most of our hemp oil comes from Canada, and they're using seed processing technologies that is decades old as well. So we're in a position to process hemp in the United States, and Purevision offers a disruptive technology to revolutionize the industrial hemp industry. I showed you a chart of end products a little earlier for Purevision, and this is a similar chart for pure hemp. If you see the pulp and hemp seed oil boxes in brown on the left, those represent kind of existing end product markets for industrial hemp today. We will add the sugar and lignin markets as intermediate materials that we can convert from industrial hemp to produce these end products. Really, the only difference in this end product chart from the Purevision chart is the hemp seed oil. So we will have the capabilities of processing hemp seed oil at our biorefineries, or some of the farmers will choose to do that separately. So industrial hemp is a sustainable crop. It requires less water, less herbicides and pesticides. It does not require the same soil quality of crops such as corn and wheat. So the agricultural community is very excited about this new opportunity, not available in the United States since I believe 1937. So it'll take a while to scale up, but a lot of the bipartisan support in Congress comes from this notion that it represents a great agricultural opportunity for our customer. Farmers need a place to take it. There are no processing capabilities in the United States for industrial hemp today, which is the opportunity we see to convert industrial hemp into sugars, lignin, and pulp, as we're already doing. We're also investigating higher value applications such as hemp beverages, CBDs, and nutraceuticals after we've proven our ability to produce the sugars, lignin, and pulp we're already expert at. So our business plan for Pure Hemp has got the exclusive global technology license for processing and marketing industrial hemp, as well as sub-licensing the technology. We've begun a 2-year pre-commercialization program and have completed some experiments on our shrinking bed reactor and determined that we can convert, using our process, industrial hemp into sugars and produce high yields, high quality sugars, and we're just now beginning fermentation experiments that will further demonstrate our capabilities to process industrial hemp. We are working with agricultural concerns, industrial hemp associations, government, and those interested in buying hemp-based biomaterials to develop the value chain. Once we complete our demonstration biorefinery, we'll be raising additional money to complete that plant. And on an ongoing basis, we'll generate profits not only from owning industrial hemp biorefineries and processing industrial hemp, but from licensing that technology and collecting royalties worldwide. This is our team. You met Ed briefly. He's been our CEO. He's an industry pioneer and really the last standing CEO in this industry after the tenure he has served. We've got 4 of our PhDs shown on here, Dick Wingerson and Dhruba Laskar, leading our technical organization, Don Cha, leading our intellectual property and patent development efforts. And we are supported by a board of directors, a business and technical advisory board, and have really a long list of leading industry experts in the many kind of functional areas we participate in, such as biomass, engineering, and processing. But leaders, industry leaders and experts serving on these different boards that serve us on a regular basis. So I'll outline the A-round financing that we're going out for just now. We're looking for $10 million. This private placement is available only to accredited investors. You may know that accredited investors have to have minimum levels of income and assets in order to participate in this sort of a private placement. Our minimum investment is $25,000, and we're offering a preferred return. That preferred return will come from Pure Hemp, because we believe the technology and the feedstock that we own and the opportunity available to us with industrial hemp will produce profits the quickest at our demonstration biorefinery that we plan to break ground for next year. 50% of those returns will go back to these A-round investors until their investment is fully repaid. We'll use this money for 3 years of working capital and to complete this 2-year pre-commercialization program for industrial hemp, as well as IP and patent development, and positioning ourselves to build this phase 3 or demonstration scale biorefinery. As we continue to prove out our technology and scale that technology up, we will create opportunities for merger acquisition and IPO. So for those who are interested in this opportunity, I'd ask you to contact us. We've shown the email addresses for both Pure Hemp and Purevision below. And you're certainly welcome to email me, Casey Ives, at Casey, C-A-S-E-Y, at purevisiontechnology.com, or call me, 720-341-3636. With that, I'll turn the mic back over to Derwin Wallace, and he and Ed can manage the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. Give me a couple of seconds to queue up questions. Okay, the first question, Ed and Casey. Hemp to sugar, lignin, and pulp. Is this process less expensive than the current process of making sugar?
Well, you know, that's an interesting question. One of the biggest factors in looking at cost modeling is the price of the feedstock. So today you cannot make enough sugars from hemp because we don't have that much. In Colorado, this was the first year you could grow industrial hemp. We traveled all over the state just to find enough hemp for us to process. And what was interesting, the hemp that was available was sold to California. But as we are working with farmers now and developing the supply chain, we believe that in the years to come we will have enough supply to make sugars. But to succinctly answer your question, it's going to be cheaper to make sugar from sugarcane as opposed to sugar from industrial hemp. However, there's a lot of products that will have a lot of appeal that will be made from hemp sugars that the consumers would rather have hemp sugar-based products versus corn-based and sugar-based products from corn and sugarcane.
Okay, and so what is any differences between the sugars made from hemp and the sugars made from corn? Is there any benefits to hemp to sugar versus corn to sugar?
Well, a couple of things. One is, as Casey mentioned, we're planning to demonstrate the technology, breaking ground next year with a 25-ton per day demonstration plant. The price point at that scale will not compete with sugarcane or corn sugar. However, as we scale up to the phase 4 commercial installation, we have very good modeling data that suggests we're going to be able to sell sugars at 10 cents a pound, and at that scale we will be able to compete with corn sugars and sugarcane sugars. But physically there will not be much difference between corn sugars and hemp sugars.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you have a patent on your hemp to sugar process, and anyone with a similar process?
There are patents that we own, and they are not hemp to sugars. They're cellulosic biomass to sugars, so they're quite broad. There's no one else in the world that we know of that's figured out the countercurrent reactor that we have, and we believe that we're well protected. And as Casey mentioned, we do have 6 patents on our continuous countercurrent reactor, and we have other patents pending, and we're in the process of filing new patents as we speak.
How large is the sugar market?
The sugar market worldwide is a multi-billion-dollar market, and it is growing. And there was a great slide that showed the expanding market for sugars to make consumer and industrial products. And as the corporate America and companies across the world want to transition from oil-based products to sugar-based products, the demand for sugars, we believe, will significantly increase, and we hope the price will go up as well.
And I know Casey touched on this on one of his slides, but the question is, what products can be made out of lignin and pulp?
Sure. Lignin is it's a substance in all biomass. All plants, grasses, shrubs, trees are composed of 3 main components: cellulose, which is a fiber; hemicellulose, which is a tiny fiber; and lignin. Those 3 components make up about 75 to 80% of all things that grow. Lignin is very prevalent in the pulp and paper industry. As they take trees to make pulp and paper, they take the lignin out, and they're left with this lignin. In the pulp and paper industry, They don't know what to do with the lignin, and they typically burn it because it's the high BTU portion of the plant. So it's a relatively clean boiler fuel. However, the pulp and paper lignin, known as kraft lignin, is not suitable to make industrial chemicals. However, we have developed a very unique lignin pathway that instead of being high in molecular weight, we've developed a low molecular weight lignin that's highly reactive, and it can react with other chemicals, and you can make plastics and chemicals and fuels out of the unique Purevision lignin, unlike the lignin that is, comes from the pulp and paper industry. On the pulp side, traditionally, pulp is used to make paper and paper products, sanitary products, Kleenex, toilet paper, hospital products, bedding, and so forth. And there's quite a large market in that arena.
Okay. Casey, if you could put the slide up for minimum investments that had one of the bullet points was minimum investments. I'm getting a bunch of questions about that, about minimum investments. So
yeah, the slide will show that we're looking at a minimum of $25,000 per investor. As Casey mentioned, we have a number of friends and family that have been supporting us over the years, and we now have a number of interested people that are very intrigued with our technology. They've seen our plant, they've seen a similar presentation, and they want to invest, and they're not your typical venture capital or well-capitalized company, so we've made a very small requirement to invest in this A round. Do you have any other questions on this slide?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Next question, as hemp becomes more available and is used more, would the prices go up for hemp, and would that impact your business?
You know, that's a great question, and I can't answer that. However, I will say this. We have met and know a number of farmers that have started growing hemp, and we are aware of a growing number of folks and companies that want to begin growing hemp. So our plan is actually to work intimately with farmer and farmer co-ops that will become part owners in the local hemp biorefinery, and we can control the price of our feedstock on an ongoing basis, regardless what the present market is. So I hope that makes sense, but there's a lot of ways to look at this. But at the end of the day, I cannot tell you if the price of industrial hemp will go up or down. However, as it's being legalized and more farmers across the United States cultivate and grow and bale and sell industrial hemp, hopefully it will compete with other sources of biomass.
Next question, Ed, is there a biofuel connection to your proposed hemp processing? How might this technology interface with the existing biofuel manufacturing industry?
There could be a connection, but I want to be clear, we are not advocating converting industrial hemp into biofuels. That's something we don't back and we do not support. However, we are making sugars, and those sugars we are fermenting into alcohol, and that alcohol can be used as biofuels. So we would not have control over our sub-licensees that license the technology, and they want to make biofuels out of them. But I would like to be clear to let this audience know that that is not one of Purevision's targets, is to make biofuel from industrial hemp.
How does marijuana hemp legislation impact your business going forward?
It impacts it 100%. An example is if there was a change in leadership in Washington and they outlawed industrial hemp, this opportunity goes away. However, as Casey mentioned, this is a bipartisan initiative. One of the greatest proponents of this is from Kentucky, and it's, again, from both sides of the aisle. So we feel that with time, more and more states are going to legalize industrial hemp, which is the sober cousin of marijuana.
Next question, what would you consider to be the next catalyst for your company, excluding legislation?
You know, we are very excited where we're at, and we just want to go to market as quick as possible. So that's why we're putting this A round together. We want to hire more people, and we want to prove out the technology, and most importantly, we want to scale it up and bring it to market. And we have a lot of opportunities to do that, and so I would just succinctly say that raising $10 million will be the biggest catalyst to move this technology to market.
Well, that was our last question. Any closing remarks, Ed and Casey?
Well, I just want to thank all of you for listening in and viewing this. As you can hear, it's a very unique opportunity, and we hope to hear back from at least a few of you. And we also have quite a facility in Fort Lupton, Colorado. We got about a 25,000 square foot R&D campus, and we're doing projects for clients, and we're doing testing for labs, and it's a pretty unique operation. So thank you for your time, and appreciate it, and we hope to hear back from you.
Well, thank you, Ed and Casey. That concludes our presentation for the day. Our next webcast